You have a mimic?
I think Maci's had a run-in with a demon.
I woke up to 3 knocks under my bed. It was just like...
It felt like I was inside of someone else's body. And I wasn't in control. And I wasn't human.
Freaky Friday. Oh my God.
Oh my God, you Freaky Friday'd with a cryptid.
So you both like start out like, oh yeah, we started this podcast to explore more tea. Like so sweet and innocent. And then, oh, but a demon was under my bed. Hi, everyone. We're really excited for this episode because we have some very, very special guests.
Spooky women, spooky sisters.
Maci and Nadoly from Ghosteas podcast, which we've seen you, we've heard you, you wanted us to do a collab, and so here we are. Here it is. Check out our episode where we have Maci and Nadoly. I almost said Naci.
Oh, they're
like
little sister name
like
together.
Corinna.
Once again, their middle sisters left out. Sorry to your middle sister.
Yeah. Is Sven our middle sister?
Who
never gets a word. Yeah. Never gets to get a word in. That's why he has to haunt all of you. But anyway, we have Maci and Nadoly from Ghosteas on the podcast. And then we, Corinne and I, are on the Ghosteas podcast as well. So go check out both episodes. And we hope you enjoy this one, which is full of Appalachia, demons, and grandparents.
Enjoy.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome. Nadoly and Maci from
Hello.
Ghosteas.
Hi.
We are so excited.
We're so excited to have you. We just found out that this is your first ever collab, and we couldn't be more excited and honored that you're doing it with us.
Yes.
Thank you.
And we've had several people in our comments saying that we need to, like, y'all should collab with Two Girls, One Ghost. And I was like, okay.
It's highly requested on our end.
Yes. So we're
Oh, well, that's
really
great.
excited.
Ours too. And I feel like our listeners have a lot of things in common, but one of them is that they're sick in the head for Appalachia.
Yes.
Yes.
So we did pick a couple listener stories that take place in the Appalachia region. But before we get into those, we want to hear both of your personal encounters with the other side. What have you experienced? I know I've like seen on your Instagram stories that as Ghosteas podcast, like you have fallen a victim to the haunted podcast experiences that we too have experienced. Give our listeners a little bit.
Who are you?
Yeah. Start from the beginning. Were you
Where were
born
you
haunted? Yeah.
I think yours started earlier than mine.
Yes.
So you can
we've
jump
been-
on that.
Yeah, we've been obsessed with paranormal literally from the beginning. We used to talk about ghosts and guardian angels and anything woo-woo with our grandma, like our entire lives. And so that's
I
like a
love
big
that.
connection we have together. And it started with tea. We wanted to try new teas together because I'm a big
Yes.
tea drinker and Nadoly wasn't so
Aw.
much. So I was like, okay, well, let's have an excuse to get together and drink teas all the time. Let's talk about ghosts. and so it just
Ghosteas was born.
naturally fell into place, really.
It's also the most like perfect title.
Yeah.
Ghosteas.
Thank you.
Yes. Thanks.
And it's like a play on words because it's like a little tease too, like tease into the paranormal.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or tea from the paranormal, like the ghost.
Oh, you get
Gossip.
some tea.
Yeah.
Ghost
Spill all the
gossip,
ghost tea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Maci
Yeah.
came up with that. I fully credit her with that because this whole thing was her idea basically, and we thought really only our grandma was gonna watch it. Like
Yeah.
she said, like it was never planned for this many people to be watching, and so when people showed up, we were like, "Oh hi,
Welcome."
Hello. But
We get it.
But yeah, we have had a few little paranormal experiences with the pod. Sometimes our camera will just stop working for no reason. Right now we have a mirror behind our camera just in case because we record with our phone. So we can see the reflection to make sure that it keeps going because that's happened several times. And then
recently we did an episode on the Smurl family. They're what the new Conjuring movie is about. And normally we like do the edit and then I'll go back and I'll take clips and, post things like that. It wouldn't open.
the file
the
is just
file
completely won't open.
Will not open on anything. I reset the computer. I could open everything else. That one specific thing when we're talking about the demon specifically was like, it won't open for me
Nope.
anymore. And so I just kind of was like, okay, We're going to leave
She
that there.
texted me. She said, we're just not having any short form content from this episode because I'm not messing with it. It doesn't want to be talked
You know what?
about.
That makes me kind of nervous because we covered the Smurl possession too.
A year
And
ago.
that was one of, like, every once in a while, I'm sure you guys experience this too. Every once in a while, there will be an episode which we can't predict which ones will kind of like elicit hauntings from listeners. But that was one where our inbox started being flooded by people who were having like tech issues or weird hauntings, strange noises, animals acting bizarre around them. Just like,
Well, because it was also one that when we recorded it, we both had like some weird feelings, but it wasn't anything too bad.
that's wild. So you were able to put out the full episode, but it wasn't allowing you to like pull specific.
I can't even open it on the computer anymore. And so after trying a bunch of times, I was like, you know what? I'll leave it.
It just is what it is.
That's fine.
Yeah,
we can leave
were
it
able
alone.
to export our full video and then it just no more.
You have to listen. You just have to be like, okay, that's what,
We hear you.
That's what the
you
ghosts
did as much
want.
as you could.
Exactly.
Would you say that's your most haunted episode that you guys have done so far?
For
Ooh.
us, I think, but we've had like y'all have people comment like, oh my God, I was watching this and then I heard something call my name, or I was watching this and then there was like knocks on my window. Like we get comments like that. That really
or like
freak me
the
out.
video will just stop playing and they'll start back over
Yeah.
for no reason. Like won't even be near their phone or touching it and it'll just start back over for no reason or skip around.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had
So weird.
several people, but it kind of jumps around per episode.
It's so unexplainable. Like I feel conflicted because sometimes I'm like, well, I'm glad sometimes that this stuff is happening because then it's like kind of fun and it adds to the spookiness of being a paranormal
entertainment.
podcast. Yeah. It's like, it's good press for us in the paranormal world, right? But then on the flip side, I'm like, why is there so much difficulty? Like it's almost like cock blocking our listeners from listening to us.
Right. But then it also makes me think, is it because the people who are listening to our shows are so interested in the paranormal that they're open? And like, is it the ghost from the Smurl family possession, or is it a spirit that's perhaps around our listener that's interfering in their life?
Yeah.
I'd like to go with the second option.
Yeah.
I
Fair.
prefer a friendly ghost. Maybe someone who's also interested in the podcast and they're like, hey, go back. I want to hear that part again.
Yeah.
Oh, we're hoping.
Yeah. Better than a demon.
So do you think your
Yes.
grandma was a witch?
Oh. No,
No.
she's,
So she's
very
woo-woo.
into angels and like still today she's like talking to us about getting an angel wing tattoo and it's just very in tune with just spirits and angels and just loves anything to do with that.
And she's really into like past lives and stuff like that. So that's kind of more her thing. She's really afraid of like ghosts or demons. She doesn't want to talk about it. But for angels or like things like that, she's always into it. So that's kind of where we started. And then, of course, we had our own little paranormal experiences down the road.
Yeah.
What's happened?
My first experience that I can remember is I was like 3 years old. I don't even know if Nadoly was born yet. And I was laying in the living room of our house and I heard footsteps walking through our kitchen and dining room, which was like right across the way from where I was laying. And in my mind, it was around Christmas time because I was like, Santa's here. Oh my gosh, I better go to sleep. But later on in life, my mom told me that this house belonged to her grandparents and she had seen her grandfather walking that same path that I heard the footsteps through. And so that's my very first, I'm positive, was a paranormal experience.
Well, that's such a sweet one.
It's a sweet one. What's weird about
And
that?
I wasn't scared. So I thought it was Santa. It was someone bringing me gifts. So
Yeah, but it's really strange because I don't know if this is creepy or if this is just sad, but every time our mom had a baby, like had one of us, someone in the family would pass right before that. And so it's just very weird because
strange connections.
Yeah, because our middle sister, Kayla, she was born right after that grandpa had passed away. And so it's just very, very spooky energy over there.
Do you guys have any connections or like weird similarities to those relatives who passed? Or do you think your family has like a quota and it's like one in, one out?
I don't know. Not that we've been told, but it's possible.
Interesting.
I look a lot like the family of the person who passed. So there's at least a physical connection, but I'm not sure.
But yeah, I don't know much about those people, but it was
Just a
just a
strange
weird
observation.
A weird
It is.
coincidence that every time our mom had a baby, someone had to be like, I'm out.
But only your mom.
Yes. When Maci first got pregnant, she has 2 kids. When she first got pregnant, I told her after she had the baby, I was like, I was thinking like, am I next? Like who's about to
That's
die?
where my mind went. It's like instead of being super excited for everyone to have like give birth, you're kind of like, who's gonna die?
Waiting, like bated breath.
Practical magic curse where
Yeah.
anyone they fall in love with is bound to die. Yeah.
Well, hopefully it just stays with our mother and
Yeah,
we're safe so
exactly.
far.
Wow.
Knock on
But
wood.
you've had a couple of experiences.
I
in your
haven't had
life?
as scary as Maci. I think Maci's had a run-in with a demon, to be honest, but she
I
can tell you about that.
Yeah, we need to hear that.
My first experience that I remember was when I was probably like 7 or 8. We went to a basketball camp, Maci, myself, and our sister Kayla. And I was in the lower age group, so I had to be by myself. And I had went to the bathroom in this high school that they were hosting it in. And I remember just, walking in there, just doing my thing. And I heard footsteps. And I was like, okay, someone else is coming in the bathroom. That's fine. But then out of nowhere, I got this like rush of just like intense fear, like primal fear. I was like, I'm in danger. And so I got out of the bathroom and I started running. I don't know why I started running. And I turned around and this is the only visual thing I've ever seen. I saw like a black, like misty, shadowy figure thing like following me. And in my little 8-year-old mind, I was just like, I'm literally about to die. Like I have to run. And I ended up running into like the boys area where they were doing shirts and skins. So then I was petrified that way. I was like, there's so much going on. And so that was my very first experience and probably my scariest because I actually saw a visual thing.
And the fact that at 8 years old, like your instincts aren't to think, oh my gosh, I'm going to die. So like when your gut, I mean, we say it all the time, but trust your gut.
Mm-hmm.
But when your gut at 8 years old is insinuating that much fear.
Yeah. Like extreme danger.
It does sound like it was something.
Yeah. We feel the same way. Like, always trust your gut. If you feel negativity, then don't play around. It's probably negative and you should just do whatever you can to protect yourself.
Get out. Yeah.
And I feel like every time I've gone against my intuition, I've regretted it so deeply.
Yes. With everything, honestly.
Yeah. Not even just paranormal. Yeah.
So you saw like basically this scary, misty shadow being.
Yes. And that's
at
the
just
only
8 years
time
old.
I had ever seen anything. And then we'll hear stories from our listeners. And I'm like, I wonder what that's like. And like, I want to see it. But then I'm like, wait, no, I
Maybe
don't.
not.
I'm good. I saw my one and that's fine. And we think that our middle sister also, well, we know she saw something, but she's not afraid of like anything. No. So Maci and I, we grew up being just terrified of our own shadow and our rooms were connected like on one of the walls. And so we would like have a little knocking system to be like, hey, are you awake? Or like, hey, can I come sleep in your room? And so there was one night where we were just laid up in her room, just chatting, having a good time. And our sister Kayla was in there with us and she's like, all right, I'm going to go to bed. Like, see y'all later. And me and Maci were like, okay, like we're just going to hang out. About 20-ish minutes later, Kayla barges in there and she's like, Nadoly, stop running by my room. And we said,
excuse me?
What?
No.
I was like, I haven't left. I was like, Kayla, stop playing. She's like, Nadoly, you're wearing a black shirt. I saw you. You keep running by my room. Stop. I'm trying to go to bed.
You have a mimic?
And me and Maci.
I turned to her. I said, we have been in here the whole time. I promise no one has left this room. I don't know who you're talking about. And we were the only kids in the house at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, oh.
Okay.
And like turned and went back to bed. And me and Nadoly sat up all night like, oh no, there's someone here.
Terrified. And she just said, okay, I'm going back to bed. And that's very much her. So
is this why she's not on the podcast? Because she's more like blinders, don't want to talk about it, don't want to think about it, pretend it doesn't exist.
Basically, yeah. And she also lives an hour away. We live like 5 minutes from each other.
Yeah.
So it's a lot easier.
Nice.
It worked out.
Oh my gosh.
Now I feel bad for her because she's the middle sister, right?
Yes.
And she's not on the pod. Isn't this like the typical middle sister left out?
Yes.
Middle sibling left out?
No, well, we invite her and she wants to come on again. So eventually, probably she'll come on if she has the time.
Cut that. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Okay, this knocking thing is so cute that you guys had this sort of code, but where I was thinking the story was going to go,
looking back.
I was like, that is just like the classic, like beginnings of a horror movie where it's like the kids are knocking and you're getting knocks back.
What happened is pretty similar. Like there was a mimic.
Yeah. Something that looked enough like you.
Oh, that just gave me a chill.
I've thought about it before, but I don't like to go there very often because I get scared. Like, what if sometimes when she was knocking at me, it wasn't her?
I can't think about it. I can't.
Seeing that iteration of you only happened once, right? Like your sister didn't see.
As far as we know, she wouldn't be one to get freaked out and tell us. So,
but there have been a lot of weird things that happened, particularly in that house that we grew up in. Like even our dad, who isn't super big into this has had his experience where he's heard things like whispering in his ear at night. And like one time Natalie was sleeping in my bed and she was whispering at me in the middle of the night. And I like shined my light on her face and she completely stopped whispering, closed her mouth, closed her eyes because her eyes were wide open staring at me. She closed her eyes and just went to sleep. And a lot of weird things.
Is it fair to say that, Natalie, you're the creepier one?
Maybe.
You know what?
She's probably had more experiences, but I've had maybe
You've
the
had
scarier
scarier
ones.
Yes, I've probably had
Right.
more little things because I, on one of our earlier episodes, was like, oh yeah, Maci, you know when you're just like kind of sitting there and you hear someone whisper your name? And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, no, like that's a normal thing, isn't it? Like you just hear someone say like, Natalie. And she was like, no, that is not a normal thing. I was fully under the impression that was just kind of like an auditory thing that everybody heard, but
So how often does that happen to you?
it hasn't happened in recent years. And I think if it happened now, I'd probably throw up, but it happened a lot when I was younger. And I just like, for some reason, I told myself like, oh, that's just something that happens. I don't know. Just everybody hears that once in a while.
Right.
So
Okay,
I
well
feel
now,
that.
Maci, we need to hear the time you saw a demon.
Okay, well, I don't think I saw it. Not in person anyway. So it started in that house. And I have a few theories about its origin, but I can save those for the end. But it started in that house. I started having really bad dreams. And it was the same dream over and over again, where I would be touring this castle and I'd go down in the basement. And the further I walked, the more like ruinous it became. It was just like crumbling at its edges. And it led into a forest. And I found this little girl in the forest, but she was kind of like had an aura of blue and she looked really scared. And so I was trying to help her and I was like, do you need help? What's wrong? What's wrong? And she would look at me, gasp, and disappear right in front of me. So I was like, okay, I have to find this girl. I don't know what's wrong with her, but she needs help. So it happened a few more times where I would find her and she would disappear in front of me. And then finally at the end of my dream, I found her and I was like, do you need help? Tell me what's wrong. And instead of looking at me, she like looked up into the trees and like got this immense fear on her face. And so I followed her gaze and saw this creature. It was like bird-like, but I can't even describe it. It was very scary, but it had a red aura around it. And it snapped its head to me and screamed this high-pitched scream. And I woke up still hearing the scream, my whole body like tingling, just chills. And I couldn't move. It was horrifying. And it happened several times towards the point where I told my dad, I'm scared of my room. I don't like at night, I feel like there's something in there with me and I don't know what to do. I can't go anywhere. So he brought like a Jesus statue and a crucifix and everything into my room so I could feel some sort of protection. And that helped a little bit. And I pray a lot. So like that's kind of what I go to when I'm feeling scared. And so it helped a little bit, but I still had this feeling like in the back of my mind that something wasn't right. That was my freshman year of college. And my sophomore year of college, I moved out into a fully furnished apartment. So I didn't bring any of my things except for my clothes and, a few little personal items. And it stopped. I didn't have any dreams anymore. I didn't have these feelings anymore at all. Like I didn't feel haunted in any way. And then the next year I moved into another house, but I brought all of my furniture from my old room into that house. And almost immediately upon moving into that house, I started having bad dreams again. And it wasn't the same dream, but it was still, it was scary. And it felt like something was watching me in my dream. And I never saw anything, but I just kept waking up with this overwhelming feeling that something wasn't right and I wasn't alone. Well, one night, my boyfriend, who he actually ended up moving into that house, but he was staying in my room with me when I fell asleep. I woke up to 3 knocks under my bed. It was just like under my bed. And it woke me up. And I was like, Jake, leave me alone. I'm trying to go to sleep. And I just rolled back over. And then it happened again, just underneath my bed. So I thought he was pulling a prank on me.
I hate this.
And I sat up and I looked around and I didn't see him. And I was like, I know that's you. Please leave me alone. I'm really tired. I got to go to sleep. And I laid back down. I started falling asleep again. And then it happened again. But it was like really intense this time. Just like, really hard. And so finally I jumped up and I was like, please stop it. You're scaring me. And I bent down over the bed thinking he was hiding under there for some reason. He's never done anything that mean to me before. But I was like, I don't know. I'm like half asleep. I look down and there's no one or nothing under there. So I sit back up and I'm like, maybe I just can't see because it's dark. So I called him to try to like get this gotcha moment. Like, ha, I know it's you. And he answers, but he's outside and I'm all by myself in my room. And so I start crying and I'm like, you have to come in, please. Oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. And I jumped up and I'm like looking for all of my religious like paraphernalia, anything possible for protection. And I'm like praying and he thinks I'm crazy. It was a whole ordeal, but it was very scary. Well, eventually, like I was talking to my grandma about it and we prayed a lot and it stopped. But I still had this feeling like in the back of my mind, you know, that like it's there. It's in the periphery. Like,
yeah,
it's not left me. But I just ignored it and went on about my life. Well, it was about, I think, 2 years later. And I was moving out of that house because I had graduated college. And I started having those dreams again after I had started moving my things. In these dreams, I could finally see it, but it was getting closer to me. And it was like right behind me most times. So I'd wake up.
Did it look the same like it had in that first dream?
No, it looked different every time. It was like a different monster, but I could tell, like, you know how when you dream and you see someone and they don't look like them, but you know it's them?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was like that. It had the same energy. It had the same feeling behind it, but it looked different every time. And the final dream that I had, I remember I turned around, it looked kind of like The Nun, like the Conjuring movie, I think.
Yes.
It kind of looked like that, but more distorted.
No.
And that was the last dream I remember having of it. And it was right behind me. Like I turned around and it was like in my face. And I like screamed no. And I woke up the day after. I went back to gather the last of my things. And I moved a pile of notebooks that had been on this desk probably since I graduated. So it had been months. When I moved that pile of notebooks, there was an upside down cross like carved into the desk. And I thought someone was playing a prank on me. That's where my mind goes immediately.
This is horrifying.
I have a picture of it still because after I talked to everyone who's ever been in my room and they said, no, I'd never do that. I took a picture because I was like, I have to remember this. There's no way. Like I'm seeing this right. And it was horrifying. And I talked to my grandma and she like helped me do some protection things. And it hasn't happened again.
How did you not get rid of like every piece of furniture that was in that room?
I did get rid of the desk. I called my
Okay.
grandma and my mom and I'm like, this desk, because that's where I got it from. And I don't even know where they got it from. They thrifted it a long time ago. And so I said, I'm burning this. I don't know what else to do. We need to take it and we need to have a bonfire. And I don't know.
Say goodbye. Good riddance.
Yes. And they're like, okay, well, we'll come get it. My grandma took it and she just sanded it down. And I don't know where it's at now.
She
gave it a new stain and thought that was fine.
Yeah. And this is a different grandma.
Get rid
This
of the
isn't
cross.
our Mimi.
Yes.
But yeah, she was
Because-
like, we'll get rid of this. It'll be fine.
They don't get rid of things.
Yeah.
They don't get rid of stuff. They're going to keep it.
Sure.
If it's working, they're going to keep it. So she sanded it down and said, good as new.
And she hasn't had anything?
Not that we know of. And it's either with her or with our cousin right now. And neither of them have told us. So maybe, I don't know.
Interesting. You know, this is a totally new approach to how to treat haunted artifacts. Because I feel like sometimes people add stuff or like they'll paint something or like write over a Ouija board. Perhaps we need to bring it back. We have to take things away from it.
Right.
Yeah.
Sand it down.
Sand it down.
Restain it.
Hey,
It worked for them.
okay.
it's working so far.
But I told them I never want to see it again. And I haven't had those dreams or those feelings anymore. So my thought is it was attached to the desk somehow. And maybe
Right.
just in times of great stress, like I was moving and starting new like chapters of my life, like maybe it was like, I don't know, brought out more.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The knocking
that's so
under your bed
terrifying.
is probably the scariest.
It's so creepy.
Especially the way it intensified.
It was horrifying. It was like, no, it's not Jake. It's me. To this day, I still kind of get a little scared at night when I think about it.
She never
Yeah.
told me this because
No.
when she moved out, I was still living at home because I was in high school. And if she would have told me that, I would have passed away on the spot. So she didn't tell me. And she told me for the first time while we were recording an episode. And I felt betrayed. I was like, all this time, you've gone in life not telling me this. But
Oh my God.
I hate this story.
It was for good reason.
I hate it.
I hate to think of what was actually underneath your bed because I know you said you didn't see anything, but it was also dark. And like thinking, Nadoly, of when you saw the like kind of dark, misty being, like what if something like
Right.
that was there?
Like
What
it
if
was
you
just a
were
shadowy
face to
figure?
face with
Oh.
something, Maci, and you had no clue?
Well, you just made me convulse.
Well, you basically were face to face with it. Yeah.
You're almost booping noses.
You've already survived it and you haven't experienced it since. So I feel like that's one positive.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's scary is I felt something brush my arm, but all these years I've told myself that maybe it was just a blanket, like my blanket just maybe fell, but I felt something brush my arm down by the ground. And to think that it was actually under there, that gives that a new meaning and makes me sick, honestly.
I hate that story so much.
That was not a blanket. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm sick for you too.
And you know it wasn't a blanket.
I know.
I feel like you guys didn't lead into the extremeness of your stories. You guys were like, oh yeah, we've had a few experiences, and these aren't just like, oh yeah, I heard a whistle and smelt my grandma. Like this is
And also you both like start out like, oh yeah, we started this podcast to explore more tea, like so sweet and innocent, and then, oh, but a demon was under my bed.
See, I didn't know about that. And but I think the reason that it feels so like not exciting, it's because we get so many, we do listener stories every Thursday, and we get stories that are like
bone chilling.
I literally, like I said, I would have passed away on the spot. So then I think about mine, I'm like, oh, it was just a little shadow figure. Because some of the stories that we get are like, I can't believe that they happened. And I believe our listeners. I don't believe all the things online, but I believe our listeners.
Like, how did you survive this?
Yeah,
I agree.
Exactly.
Well, that's actually a great segue because we have a couple listener stories where similarly, and like I would say Corinne especially has had so many encounters. But then, yes, when we read our listener stories, we're like, oh no, we're good.
Yes.
And I don't need to experience anything that they're experiencing, but we're also glad that you experienced it and survived it so that you can tell it to us and we can share it. But
but also sometimes if you flip the script on yourself and say, okay, if I wrote this into my own podcast and like didn't know it was me, would I think that this is a horrifying experience?
And the answer is yes. To both of your encounters. Yeah. Okay, just for people who are finding out about Ghosties for the first time, what episode of listener stories do you think is the scariest for people to go check out?
Oh, we actually...
Would it be 100?
Yeah. When we did our 100th episode, we revisited all of our scariest listener stories, the ones that we still think about.
Yes. There's one that someone said they heard a gummy smile, and I think about it almost every day. I think about
that's
it like
such a yucky description.
It's disgusting. It's disgusting. And that's one that has stuck with me. It's not even the scariest one, but that one
It's just like the description of
daily.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
So definitely episode 100. That's where all of our scariest listener stories lie.
Amazing. I'm going to listen to it.
Oh,
not tonight, but maybe
not a night.
Maybe in a like sunny day.
Oh my God. When we first started recording, now we're very lucky that this gets to be both of our full-time jobs. But when we first were recording, Sabrina was working a writing job with just like really long hours. I was in grad school and working. And so we would record either super, super early in the morning or super late at night. So it was like always dark.
That's what we do.
We'd be so scared. And there was for like a good year and a half straight, every time I had to shower or get ready for bed or like use the bathroom after recording, Sabrina had to stay on the phone with me for like a good 30 minutes and be my
support system.
My support system.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, because we record at night most of the time. And I have to call someone on the phone while I drive home because I'm so scared. I have to like drive through a wooded area. And every time I get through there, I'm like, don't look around, don't look around, don't look around.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my God. Do you guys have a show that you watch to
unwind?
I usually watch Gilmore Girls. That is where I find comfort.
I'm usually turning on Family Guy.
Both great choices.
I'm closer to Family Guy. I'm a Bob's Burgers.
It changes. I like binge through a show. So like right now I'm doing Modern Family. Modern Family is
it has to be something light. Some sort of like sitcom, family.
Completely changed.
Drama.
Yeah.
Completely detached from the paranormal.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. We each picked a story from Appalachia, but I really want to show a photo that we showed in a recent episode.
Are you going to start with that?
I think I need to.
Okay.
Because it's so creepy. And I just want your opinion.
We're taking a photo intermission.
Yeah, photo intermission. Okay. So one of our listeners sent us this photo and we read it on a regular episode, but I feel like you two will appreciate it. So I'm just going to read it again and show it to you. Okay. This is from our listener, V. She said, you two have been my go-to late night listen when I'm too creeped out to sleep, but I'm also too curious to stop listening. So naturally, when something downright bone-chilling comes across my path, I have to send it to you. And this came across my path recently. I am a mental health therapist working in the deep woods of Appalachia. Cue banjos, fog, and generational ghost stories. I get to hear all kinds of stories, some that science can explain, and some that leave even the most grounded among us saying, nope, that is definitely something else. This story is the latter. A client of mine who gave full permission to share this story and image recently told me about a chilling experience on the grandparents' farm. It's a remote property surrounded by thick woods, the kind where the silence feels alive. For safety, they've got hunting cameras posted around the land. One night, they start getting motion alerts. and they checked the footage. And what they saw was not human, not animal, just wrong. There's a figure standing upright, half naked. Its face and body are distorted in a way that makes you want to look away, but also not blink. And its feet are hooves. Everyone who has seen it believes it's and we don't say this word, so we call it a flesh pedestrian or a SW.
Yes.
And I'm not saying what it is or isn't, but I have not stopped thinking about it since. Warning, the photo attached is a picture of the device displaying the original image, so there is a glare, but you can still see the figure clearly. Open at your own risk. And our listener did say that ever since opening the photo, they started experiencing hauntings.
Oh, no.
So,
and we can't tell you if that is the same for us because the episode that Sabrina read this in was one that we recorded this morning. So we haven't had much opportunity to know how bad viewing this is.
Okay, well, we do not claim this energy.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, we should have asked.
Do you want to see it?
Yes, we do.
We want to see it. Close your eyes.
You guys, no, yes.
I want to see.
Yes. I'm excited but scared.
It's a confusing one.
Oh no. The way its arms.
Right, we're like, is that an arm? Is that a tail? Like, what's going on with that long
the long little
situation?
Thing.
Oh my gosh. No. Whatever that is not human.
No. Oh God. Okay.
And that's in Appalachia, you said?
Yep.
Yeah, on like a wildlife cam out in the middle of the woods at night.
And that's the thing is like they live on farmland, so it's not like, oh, a neighbor is taking a nightly stroll in their furry boxers that they like to wear to sleep.
Yeah, that was so animalistic.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not like
It's
that.
super creepy.
And we just talked about Wendigos like a couple days ago. I'm not liking the cryptid-y things right now.
Anything in Appalachia too. It's just like you don't really know, especially because we've talked about how I think there's just such like a profound, almost ancient energy in the Appalachias that while I do believe some of these entities are there to like protect and honor like the history of the land, I do feel like you don't know what's going to set them off.
Yes. And I don't want to find out.
And I'm not willing to
test it out.
Yeah.
No. That will unsettle me for a few days, I think.
You unsettled us with your personal stories and we unsettled you with a photo.
Thank you. It's only fair.
I have an email that was sent in from our listener, Shay, and I feel like this is a really good one. Ever since I was little, my family and I have camped in the Appalachian Mountains, those ancient whispering hills that hold more secrets than people realize. We'd go every summer, like clockwork, sometimes with big groups of family, sometimes just me and my mom. But no matter what, the Appalachians were our sacred space, our second home. The smell of pine, the creak of the trees, the soft hum of the cicadas at night. It is the soundtrack of my childhood. My mom and I have always been very spiritually in tune. We see things, feel things. I've had dreams since I was a kid that end up coming true, like deja vu on steroids. Some would call that a premonition.
Yeah.
And she's the same way, which made our bond super strong. We would just get each other. We've always believed that there's more to this world than what most people want to admit. Growing up, my siblings and my cousins and I were all taught the same eerie but sacred camping rules from our grandfather, who sadly passed away last September. His rules were never to be broken, no matter how silly they sounded to others. Don't run in the woods. Don't whistle in the woods. Don't sing in the woods.
Ugh.
It was always said with deadly seriousness. He wouldn't even joke about it. We didn't know why, we just knew not to ask any questions, and we listened. This story takes place 3 years ago, when I was 15. We were on another family camping trip, just like always. It was me, my parents, my aunt, and my uncle, and my 2 cousins, and we set up camp in one of our favorite spots, a little clearing surrounded by dense woods, about a mile from a massive rock formation that we used as a kind of landmark. That rock always meant home, and you knew you were close to the camp when you saw it. The days were typical and magical, fishing in the cold mountain streams, bike riding through the dirt trails, mountain pies over the fire? Do you know what a mountain pie is?
Never heard of it.
It's s'mores.
Is that another name for s'mores?
Or just like some type of food over the fire. I don't know. Now, wait, hold on. What is
We
it?
gotta Google
Wait,
mountain
we gotta
pie.
learn. It's basically a campfire hot pocket.
Oh. Okay, look, we're learning things. Okay, mountain pies over the fire. Everything felt warm and familiar until the 3rd night. That is when things shifted. I remember feeling exhausted, which was totally out of character. I'm a hardcore night owl, and I'm usually the last one asleep. But that night, around 8 or 9 p.m., I just felt like something had switched in me. I had to go to bed. I climbed into my tent, I zipped myself in, and I was out cold. And then came the dream. Except it didn't feel like a dream. It felt like I was inside of someone else's body. And I wasn't in control. And I wasn't human.
Oh.
I was low to the ground, moving fast, faster than anything should move. I realized I was on all fours, weaving through the trees like a predator. My vision was low, wide, and wrong. It felt off. Animal, but not quite. I could hear the crunch of the leaves, the rapid breathing, the way the dirt kicked under the claws instead of the feet. And then I saw it, that rock formation, the same one near our campsite. My heart, or whatever passed for it in that moment, dropped. I realized I was only a minute or 2 away from our tents. The creature slowed, rising up from all fours to stand tall, unnaturally tall. Its body was black, shadowy, long-limbed. The arms bent at angles that defied biology, like broken sticks poorly glued together. It had no face that I could make out, at least, just darkness. It crept into the clearing, silent as fog, and circled our dying fire. I saw the lantern still glowing dimly on the picnic table. The chairs we'd been sitting in still held the warmth of our bodies. Everything was exactly how we'd left it just a few hours earlier. And then it turned to my tent. To me.
I feel like I'm in a scary movie where I'm like, no, no, no.
Right? I have like chills down my body as I'm reading this. It walked over, slow, deliberate, and I could hear the zipper being tugged down. A soft My heart pounded. The creature's hand reached through the flap, long, bony fingers that bent like spider legs, and it crawled into the tent.
Nope.
I saw my cousin sound asleep. I saw me curled up in my sleeping bag, and it reached out for me, its hand inches from my face, and then I woke up. Except my tent door was wide open.
No.
I sat straight up, heart racing. Everything was quiet, still. My cousins were asleep, untouched. I grabbed my phone, 3:59 a.m. on the dot. I did not sleep another second that night. I sat there in the dark, flashlight in one hand, pocket knife in the other, waiting for something, anything to move. And the next morning, I went to the campground showers. I turned around to rinse my back, and I froze. 3 deep, angry red scratches ran from the base of my neck into the middle of my spine. I hadn't felt a thing when I woke up. No pain, no itching, but there were the marks. I told only one person, my mom. She didn't question it, not even for a second. She immediately cleansed me with sage and salt and whispered prayers under her breath. She said that we may never know what came to our camp that night, but this wasn't nothing. This was not a dream. I've had all kinds of experiences with spirits and shadows, and that stuff doesn't scare me. In fact, it's always been almost a comfort. Proof that my loved ones who've passed are still close. But this shook me to my core.
Yeah.
It felt old, ancient, like something that had been there long before any of us and would be long after we're gone.
And now is a part of you?
I don't know. From one spooky girl to spooky ghostesses, Shay.
My first thought was picturing the photo that y'all showed us before, like crawling around, creeping through the trees. That's what I was envisioning. And what would have happened if she didn't wake up?
Well, okay.
Right?
Here, and this is very unlike me because usually I like to, like Corinne, make things worse and theorize more terrifying potentials. But what if this entity, because it almost felt like Shay was inside of the entity, but still conscious enough of herself, right?
Yeah.
What if the entity was like in Shay, having like normal girl dreams and was like, this isn't right?
Was trying to recollect
So they were
itself.
trying to like switch back, find itself.
Like a Freaky Friday. Oh my God.
Oh my God, you Freaky Friday'd with a cryptid.
No.
Wait, that would be such a fun, like, hokey play on a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like
that
Freaky
would be.
Friday with a cryptid.
It's like the hot chick.
Oh.
Right.
me.
Yeah. Yes. It's me, Jessica. I just watched that. Yeah.
I made Sabrina watch it 'cause she'd never seen it. But yeah, the description of like the limbs being put together, like what do they say, like broken sticks or something?
Sticks
like
taped
that?
together.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Appalachia seems to be such a place of peace for the people that go there, like it was for Shay and her family. Just,
Right.
like somewhere they go to get away. And I like to think that like what you said, like it was just, they're just trying to get itself back because they have like a symbiotic relationship. They come, they enjoy the nature, and they're kind and good and like respectful of the nature. And so it wasn't there to harm them because they know each other.
No.
Right.
I'd like to think that, but I don't think so.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah.
Because the darker version is that it had its sights set on Shay for so long that it was like able to put Shay into its mindset to make the experience even more terrifying.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
You know what also freaks me out is this is not something that she wrote in the email at all. But now I'm just thinking, so like the rule of like not to sing, not to do these different things in the woods. But I feel like, sometimes like intrusive thoughts or just like you're not supposed to do something, your mind just starts thinking of doing it like that's all you want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And who's to say Shay wasn't sleep talking and maybe accidentally summoning this creature.
Singing in her sleep.
And so it uses that way to get into like their mind to locate Shay.
Yeah.
Ooh. But think about how many people sing out in the woods.
Uh-huh.
Like even just like camp songs.
Yeah,
like
think of
singing
how
around the
many missing
campfire.
persons there are in the woods too.
And there are a lot of missing persons.
Oh.
So don't sing.
So I'm like holding our skeleton for support.
If I ever go to the woods, which I'm not much of a woods gal, but
No.
if I ever find myself there and someone starts singing, I'm leaving.
You're out.
I'm out.
Yeah, I was going to ask if either of you have ever been to Appalachia, but it sounds like no.
No. We don't go very far. We're in Texas and we've kind of been here most of our lives. I mean, we venture out every once in a while, but never to Appalachia.
No. I would like
Texas
to.
has its fair
maybe.
share of creepy places, though. So
Yes.
everywhere has its fair share of creepy places.
That's true. We went to Galveston, which is supposed to be super
fun.
haunted. And it was
Yeah.
a lot of fun and very, like, you can almost feel it.
Yeah,
because
because I mean, we've lived in Texas our whole lives. We've been there like a million times, but then for the pod, we went and like did like ghost tours and history tours and stuff. And it was so like, I didn't know all this was out here, but it explains the feeling you get when you go to
Yes.
Galveston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking Galveston's supposed to be like the most highly concentrated pocket of like hauntings.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's super haunted.
Something like that. Yeah, my brother lives in Houston and he went
So right
and
there.
did like one of the walking tours and he immediately called me after and tried to regurgitate as many facts as he could remember.
Yeah, we did the walking tour and I was like chasing our guide around with a notebook trying to take notes. It was a little embarrassing, but I didn't want to miss a thing,
It was embarrassing
love that.
because she was chasing, like I would use the word chasing. She was trying to get to the front and then I saw other people be like, oh, like let her go. And I was like, Maci, no, stop.
I just didn't want to miss anything because the guides there were so good, but there's just so much. There's so much in
Yeah.
Galveston. But yeah, I think Appalachia is on our list, but maybe not at night.
No.
Like or in the
Right.
woods at night
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay, well, I'll read one last like short story to help. This is not going to convince any of us to go.
Okay.
Basically.
Oh God.
Okay. Okay, this is from our listener, Lucy. And Lucy has 2 stories that happened within the same week. One involving what they believe is a SW, a flesh pedestrian, and the other potentially Bigfoot.
I
Okay.
love a Bigfoot story.
Me
Me
too.
too.
My mother and I were living in the mountains outside of a small town called Jewett. We were living with her boyfriend at the time and his family, and they lived off the grid their entire lives. So I was about 6 years old at the time when we moved there. I would come home from school around 4 p.m., and one night my grandfather came to visit us, and for some context, his side of the family is full-blooded Cherokee. So he had told me lots of stories growing up about these woods, and he had warned me to never go in the woods at night. That night, we had a bonfire, and everything seemed normal at first, just really dark by the tree line, when my mom and I heard rustling. We thought nothing of it because there were coyotes and deer all the time. But my mom got this weird sinking feeling, and she looked at my grandfather. He told them to move quietly back to the house. We did, and my grandfather stayed outside all night, and he refuses to tell us what he faced. 2 days after that, he was still staying with us. I came home from school as usual. We had dinner. And then after dinner, they would shut the lights off in the dining room. And I was always terrified because I would see orbs in that room. My mom had to take the dogs out, so I decided to follow with her. I had a flashlight and I saw a huge moth on the ground and told my mom to come over, but she was afraid that the coyotes would come out, so she kept walking our dog. Then I looked up at the tree line because one of our dogs started to growl. I saw something lurking. I didn't know what it was then, but now I know. It was pale, looked kind of human, on all fours. That's all I can make out in the darkness. I looked away to see where my mom went. She wasn't far, but she wasn't seeing what I was seeing. And when I looked back, I saw yellow glowing eyes, but the body was gone. We went back inside. I told my grandfather what I saw, and he said, "Good night, kid. Tonight I'm going to close your curtains." And I said to him, "Okay, but I never close my curtains." And he said, "Just for tonight." Then around...
Oh my gosh, that scared me so bad.
What was that?
Was that wax? Was that just wax?
Yeah. Why did it pop out and hit me?
I
Oh
don't
my
know.
gosh.
It flew.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it like leapt from the candle.
Did you see that?
Yes.
I didn't see anything, but I felt
I
felt
heard it, too.
I felt getting hit. All right, well,
Oh my
great.
God. That's
Great.
just
Wait, that we're recording in the same room. Before we made this our like podcasting space, I was standing in here after I'd first moved in, and dirt just materialized out of nowhere and fell from the ceiling and hit me.
And now it's wax.
And now there's wax falling on me.
You're not meant to be in
Something's
there.
here. I
Oh
know.
my God.
Okay.
I
Oh.
might turn this into my kids' playroom one day.
It's also the one room where your kid has been terrified of
Yeah,
something
he actually
he's
really
seen
doesn't
in
like
here.
this room.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But then he does love Sven.
But he comes in to give the skeleton kisses and then dips.
Aw.
All right.
Whew, okay.
Around 12 a.m., I hear knocking on my window. Everyone was asleep. I pull the covers over my head, but the knocking continues. And I hear from outside the window, "Lucy." I cried for hours until I passed out, and I never told my mom until recently. She told me that she had experiences almost identical to mine, and she refuses to go back up to that house.
I
From
can't believe
Lucy.
she just cried herself to sleep. I would have been running
Oh.
for someone.
It's the terror. Like, it's freeze, fight, flight,
Yeah.
freeze.
Oh my God.
Oh no.
Just-
Natalie's crying.
It just scared me so bad.
Oh. We've
Oh.
had a story like that where someone like they had knocking on their window and they were like trying to lure them outside. I would feel such primal fear.
Yeah, but I hate being lured. Like the idea
Yeah.
of like being summoned by something, something
Mm-mm.
knowing your name.
Well, I mean, whatever it is,
I-
Grandpa knows.
Yes. How
Why
does Grandpa know?
Exactly.
He's indigenous, you know? I feel like he just
That's
knows
true.
He just knows the land and
the land and the
Yeah.
history and
Like, what was he doing
Culture.
out there?
What always gets me is when things are like luring people out, I always ask, like, if you went, what now?
what
like,
would
what's
happen.
going to happen? Is
Right.
that like,
well, the reason we don't know is because the people who have gone out
That's what I
Like,
said.
know.
are
Are
not
they-
here to tell us the tale.
They never come
like, are
back.
those the missing people?
There was one story that we read, and I'm trying to remember the details. Do you remember it? It was like someone's uncle and dad were like walking home from church, and church was at like midnight, like once a year or whatever. And they had like a 40-minute walk home or something
Mhm.
like that. And do you remember it was 2 hours to
This
walk
was
home
in
normal,
Mexico.
and then they had to cut. It was 40 minutes if they cut through like their uncle's yard or something, like through this giant field. And they saw basically like a beast, like a Bigfoot like beast or something
Mhm.
like that. And the dad was like chasing it. That everyone else ran home, and the guy didn't return for like hours and hours
and won't talk
hours.
about what happened.
And when he finally came back, it basically like he was hiding from this thing trying to stalk him
Oh my gosh.
after he was trying to like scare it away.
yeah,
there's just so many-
stories from Mexico and stories from Appalachia. I feel like
Yes.
those two really get
Yeah.
me.
And the Philippines too.
The
Yeah.
Philippines. Yes, we get a lot from the Philippines
Yes.
and Mexico. Those are two
Yeah.
that
There's
are.
just so much there.
Like not just a lot of activity, but like horrifying
Yeah.
activity.
I feel like the belief in the paranormal is way more prevalent in those cultures and
Mm.
like lives. Like, is that partially why there's way more encounters and much more terror because it's like
Less closed
a
off.
daily part of their lives?
Yes.
That would make sense to me anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I
they
don't know.
have going on.
We have no
Yeah.
answers. And I think that's one thing we've learned about the paranormal in all the years of podcasting is we still have no answers.
No. And we're going to ignore the candle thing that happened, even though we might have just jointly experienced something.
Yeah.
That was actually really scary. I want to see that back. That was actually really,
Yeah.
really frightening.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Will you, real quick, just tell everyone where to find Ghosteas? And then we would love to have you do a sign off with us.
And then we'll see you over
Yes.
on your episode.
Yeah.
Where we will join as guests.
Yeah, you can find us on wherever you get your podcasts. It's Ghosteas. And on YouTube, it's Ghosteas Pod on YouTube. We're also on Instagram. We post there from time to time at Ghosteas Pod. And
all the socials.
all the
It's just
socials, yeah.
Ghosties Pod, I believe. GHOSTEAS.
TEAS, yes, like tea.
Great. And we'll link
Drink the
it in the
tea.
show notes too. But thank you both for joining.
Thank you so much.
We'll be joining you on your feed where you're going to share some of your scary listener stories to us.
Yes.
We will see you on the other side.